She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Thanks so much for joining us today. Hey, it's Money Monday on the Dani Johnson Show, and this is that day where we really come at you with some good tips on your finances. You know, it seems like we are in a really money-driven world today, or at least the place where I'm living, and at least around many of the individuals that I work with, and the clients that I work with. It seems like money seems to be one of those very touchy subjects for so many people. Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. Every single day, we're bringing you topics and content to be able to help you produce a better life and for you to define success for you. You see, the world or society tells us that making a lot of money or even being in business for yourself is how you're going to succeed financially. And success really is all about money. Well, I'm here to tell you, and I'm sure you've experienced it yourself, that money is not the only thing that determines success. And in some cases, it can be the thing that determines your failures in your life. In fact, if you're so money driven that you forget about the people that are helping you make the money, or you're so money driven that you forget about your most important team, which is the team at home, the people that you live with, the people that you've helped to bring into the world, the people that actually bring fulfillment and joy. That is, of course, if you're not neglecting those relationships. If you're neglecting those relationships all for money, because maybe money seems to be the thing that rewards you the most, or that makes you feel most valuable, or it's the place where you seem to find your identity, that you know how you are, how much you make. If that being the case, then you're simply finding fulfillment in that place instead of actually building really powerful and important relationships at home. And mind you, friend, listen, I played that game. I so played that game in my very early years in business where everything was about money for me. And why? Because I had somebody tell me that the definition of success was becoming a millionaire. They had told me that this was really that my success and who I was as a person was largely determined by what my bank account told me, what my bank balance was, or what my monthly income was, that was the thing that determined whether or not I was a good person or a bad person, if I was a smart person or a stupid person, that thing was what determined whether or not I was a successful person, a winning person, or a loser. It had everything to do with how much I made or how much I didn't make. And so I don't know if you've heard that same kind of messaging, but once you have a nervous breakdown at 25 and a heart attack at 24, then you kind of wake up, smell the homas and say, hello, no thank you, this life sucks. And that's exactly where I was 22 years ago, where I said, no more. In fact, I don't care if I go broke. I don't care if I lose it all. I don't care if I'm the laughing stock of the universe. I don't care if my company goes under. I don't care if I lose my house. I don't care if I lose my car, which I had paid cash for the car, so there's no way it could be taken away. But nonetheless, the bottom line was, I remember that day coming to the place of being so driven by dollars that it almost drove me into the grave, not once, but twice. And that's when I had this great revelation that, hold on a second, there are some things more important than money. So today we're going to talk about money. Yes, there is an importance to it, but if it brings you to a place of lying, yes, lying, check this out, according to a survey by the National Endowment Fund for Financial Education, 1 in 3 adults have committed financial infidelity. What? Against their partner. Yeah, like 76% of those people reported that deception impacted their relationship. So yes, so here you are married or you're in a committed relationship and one of the partners is lying about their spending, or they're lying about the amount of debt that they have, or they're lying about how much money they spent last year or last week or yesterday on something. They lie about it. You know that one partner notices, hey, is that a new pair of shoes? No. I got them at a thrift store, so they're not new. And or, oh, well, I got them on sale. They were 50% off. And they weren't 50% off. They might have been 25% off. Do you know what I'm saying? So some of this lying. So whether or not a bill has been paid. So that's another place that partners end up lying about each other. Now, again, this is where you have to ask yourself, is money so important to me that I'm willing to lie about it? I'm willing to lie about how much I make or how much I spend. I'm willing to lie as to whether or not I paid a bill or whether or not I purchased something. This is where you know money is in the absolute wrong place. And look at this. Like 1 out of 3 couples are saying that financial infidelity has been committed against them? Wow, that's a lot. That's a third of all the couples that are saying financial infidelity has happened in their relationship, and 76% of them are saying it had a major negative impact on their relationship. I can see why. It's about trust, isn't it? And for some reason, money seems to be a place where a lot of people don't trust each other. And if they're willing to trust each other with money, then when someone lies about the money, it does have a negative impact. So I want to know, have you ever been in that situation on either side of the fence? Because we really need to explore the impact that it has. And we also need to explore, is money in the right category inside of our hearts? Is money in the right category inside of our hearts? Is it in its healthy place? Or have we exalted itself higher? Have we exalted money higher than relationships? Have we exalted money higher than our relationship with our God? Have we exalted money higher than good character? Have we exalted money higher than humility? Something to look at for sure. For sure. We're going over to Carrie Carson. She's from California because we asked our audience the question of, have you ever been in this situation? Have you ever lied about money, or have you ever had someone lie about money to you? If so, what was the result? So, Carrie Carson, you've got some courage, girl. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Oh, thank you, Dani. Oh, my gosh. I am just slayed by what you just said. Oh.
Why? What is it that I just said that is making you whatever, however which way you're feeling right now?
Oh, okay. So, money is so not in the right part of my heart.
Tell me how.
I've done all the things you've just said. And this has been just something that I've done for years without even thinking about it, how much I lie about money. It's just common. I even got to the point where I wasn't even looking at it like I was lying.
Wow.
I just did it.
Wow. Tell me more about this. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to talk to you. And here's why. First of all, I appreciate, Carrie, your humility. This is amazing. I appreciate your transparency, because it's in that transparency and in humility that an authentic, real person is arising. And it's when we can be honest with ourselves that changes can begin. And with what you're sharing right now, someone else is driving down the road. They're hearing what you're saying. They're going, crap. You know what I mean? Or someone's watching this on television going, I'm doing the same thing. And unless we see it with our own eyes, and we usually see it because of somebody else's confession, or we see somebody else doing it, and if we see someone doing it and getting away with it, well, then we think we're going to get away with it too. So let me ask you this question. Did your mom or your dad lie about finances?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes, my mom did. And this is how I grew up. Things were more important, than anything. I grew up in a secular home, and my mom did a lot of shopping and, self-gratification. And I think that's what I learned, that's how you make yourself happy.
Now, mind you, secular home versus what? What do you mean?
Versus a Christian home?
Oh, so this doesn't happen in Christian homes. So Christian moms don't lie about spending any money. BS.
No, I'm sure that they do.
They absolutely do. Trust me, honey. I've seen so-called Christian homes far worse than secular homes. Sorry to say it. It is the truth. It's bad on both sides. Just because someone goes to church or says they're a part of some religious team does not mean that they live it out in all humility. I know people that don't walk with Jesus that are more humble than those who say they walk with Jesus. So I just want to point that out. We're all messed up, no matter what team we think we are on. Okay, so I want to get back to you, because this is really juicy and you're really awesome. All right, so when you say that you are lying about the money, tell me what that actually looks like.
Oh, okay. Just hiding my spending, hiding my debt, not talking about it, which I see as lying. Yeah. If I was asked directly, I would probably tell mostly the truth, but
but not all of it. Which means, is most of the truth still lying?
Yes.
It is. Because either we're telling the truth or we're not telling the truth. And that which we are not telling the full truth, we are lying. So what impact has this had on you personally, Carrie?
It's destroying me. I can't even tell you. This last year, I've been so just depressed and oppressed. This is just getting out of control. And I've been to 2 first steps. I've been to a dynasty. And I think I did exactly the opposite of everything that you taught us. The only thing I followed directions on was I read my Bible from cover to cover. And I know that's like the best thing I could have done for myself, but I still torment myself over this.
Right. So let me ask you a question.
I'm a very unhappy person.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. How long do you want to stay in this place of depression and oppression and carrying the guilt and the shame from lying about your money?
Not another day, not another moment, no more. I'm so done with this.
Yes. So as you can see, it is having a major destructive power over you. So I want to give you some really simple steps. And we're going to do them today, Carrie. We're going to do them today. And when fear begins to rise up in you about taking these very important steps, you're going to see that there's freedom on the other side of that fear. And that is actually what you're after. And if you said that you've read the Bible cover to cover this year, then you can see that your Father in heaven loves and adores you. He is for you, and he's wanting to call you out of bondage and into his light and into his freedom right this very second. So it's 2 simple things. I want you to make a list of everyone that you have lied to about money. Make a list. I don't care if there's ex-husbands involved. Make the list. And you're going to call each and every one of them, and you're going to ask them to forgive you. And this is going to clear the slate. This is going to clear the slate. This is called the reset button. You are also going to forgive yourself before you make those phone calls. That I forgive myself for lying to and give the name. I forgive myself for lying for. And you fully release yourself, sister. You fully release yourself, which means you owe yourself nothing. And as you ask for forgiveness, those people will owe you nothing and you owe them nothing. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Are you confident that you're always getting a good deal? Have you been equipped with the negotiation confidence, strategies, tactics, and supporting tools you need to close world-class deals? Finally, JPA is making the exact same specialized negotiation training and secrets used by the world's largest, most successful corporations available to everyone. Proven in more than 60 countries and used by brands like Adidas, Vodafone, Pfizer, Nokia, and others, the JPA negotiation method will set you up to save money and time while significantly increasing your profits. It doesn't matter if you're buying or selling real estate, closing contracts with suppliers, or selling products and services to individuals or organizations. Using their simple step-by-step negotiation preparation checklist, you'll be ready to confidently slug it out toe-to-toe with the toughest professional negotiators. It's time for you to stop leaving money and opportunity on the table. Go to bizneg.com/events to register now. Again, that's bizneg.com/events. Get registered today. Do you have a closet full of clothes yet say, I have nothing to wear? Are you a mom doing her best but desperately lacking me time? Or maybe your schedule has you dressing practically instead of powerfully. What if I told you there's a system, a blueprint that can save you time, money, and turn every head in the room, as well as impact the world through fashion? Friend, you're in the fashion business whether you like it or not. You're an ambassador representing your faith, your marriage, family, and business. Style is just a skill made easy with 1-2-3 Style Me. 10 steps to style success that will expand your leadership, save you hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars. This program will bring you peace of mind, reignite your marriage, make you more productive, respected, and instantly boost your confidence, equipping you to be bold and beautiful. Go to courses.lindapage.com. Again, that is courses.linda, LINDAPAIGE.com, and make a priceless investment in yourself.
More resources, more training, more results. The DaniJohnson.com Insider Membership is your ultimate success shortcut. Get exclusive access to reports, videos, audios, ebooks, cheat sheets, and other training for your personal and professional life. This is truly DaniJohnson.com's best kept secret. Become an Insider member today and get on the fast track to success.
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. The most common question I get usually are from people who are trying to juggle their life. They've got kids who are involved in all kinds of activities. They've got business or their job, finances, trying to get out of debt, plus all their church activities and all the volunteer activities. And they're pulling their hair out going, how do I juggle this all? Man, I once lived just like that until I learned Time Secrets. Time Secrets showed me how to be able to cut my hours from 100 hours a week that I was working down to 20 hours a week and tripled my income as a direct result with what I learned. Time Secrets also showed me how to get my priorities in order, which healed up my marriage. And I became a mother that I was proud of versus becoming the mother I didn't want to be. And so if you feel like your world is running around in all kinds of different circles, you can fix that. Call 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880 for Time Secrets.
And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
Friend, if you are in a place where you find yourself telling little white lies about how you're spending money, and you're not being honest with yourself or you're not being honest with your spouse, you can't possibly expect to prosper financially. You know, I think it's so wild. In fact, I see this almost every week. I see it almost every week where there are people who learn what the financial laws are and how to succeed financially, right? Which one of the greatest laws is if you can be faithful with the little financially, then you'll be made ruler over much, much more. So lying to your spouse or your partner about money, lying about what you're spending money on, lying as to whether or not you paid a bill, lying about how much debt you have, or even having a secret credit card that they don't know about, having a secret bank account that they don't know about, this is not being faithful with the little things. This is not being trustworthy with the little things. And this is violating trust in the relationship. And we just finished talking to Carrie from California. And I have to tell you, I admire this woman that she had the decency to confess right here before us. She had the decency and the level of courage and honesty to say, and she's broken about it, that, man, I do this and I need to stop in the destruction that it's had on my life. And so if you have found yourself in the same exact place that she is, do what I told her. Number one, you have got to forgive yourself. You see, when we beat ourselves up, we beat ourselves into a depression. When we beat ourselves up and we bow down under guilt and shame, we beat ourselves under oppression. Oppressive thoughts will take you to a very deep place of darkness. And you cannot succeed financially in a deep place of darkness. So if you want to be financially free, you want to be free from debt, you want to live in honesty and authenticity, then you've got to own it. You have to stop blaming your mom and dad for that's the way that they taught you, that your mom lied about how she spent money and she taught you to lie too. Well, that was a long time ago. It's time to go wash your hands of whatever mom did and move the heck on. And the second thing is that you must release yourself and make a list of names of whoever it is that you lied to financially. You need to clear the slate with every single one of those people. Now, there's always a fear that rises up. And the fear that says, what if they reject me? What if they don't like me anymore? Yeah, you're right. There is a possibility. And if those are the consequences, I have to tell you, I've learned so much from my dad who's been living with me for the last 3 months, who says, hey, if this is what happens, I deserve it. These are the consequences for my actions. Do not be afraid to take on the consequences. Own up to the consequences and be done with it. You'd also be surprised how many people will be merciful with you when you confess. You'll be amazed, especially because it's not right there in the act. But it's something that was done a while ago. So some might be a little upset, but I'm telling you, through time, those things will heal. So ask every single one of those people to forgive you. If you have found yourself in a place where you've not been honest about money, again, secret bank accounts, secret credit cards, lying about how much you spent on something or whether or not you paid something, you need to square up, make it right, be released from all of this so that you can start being faithful with the little things. And as soon as you make those phone calls, as soon as you do, guess what? Now you're starting to be faithful. That's actually the very act of now being trustworthy. Now you're going to start a new cycle. And once you do it, I want you to come over on Facebook. If you haven't come over to our pages on social media, which is Dani Johnson Live, both on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, come over and say, Dani, I did it. I made the phone calls today. I've cleaned the slate. I am no longer lying about my finances. Okay. And then every day, I want you to come over and say, today I did it again. I did it again. And then come on the day that you catch yourself, that you don't lie, but instead you tell the truth and you boldly own that truth. Like, I screwed up. I was about to lie, but I didn't. And I want you to celebrate those wins because I want to see you financially succeed. All of us here on the Dani Johnson Show want to see you succeed financially. We want to see you win financially. And if you're lying about money, whether you're lying about how much you make or you're lying about how much you don't make, if you are in any way not being honest about your finances, that's not being faithful with the little, and you can't possibly grow into financial freedom if you are not being honest about what your current finances are. And also, I'm going to tell you something about this too. Whining about your finances, complaining about your finances is also dishonest. That means that you're not trusting the one who put you in the place to be able to earn those finances. And to be honest with you, it's not your boss. It's not even yourself. It's your God. He is the one that is your provider. And if you're continuously unsatisfied financially and you are never satisfied with how much you make, this, my friend, is a seed of greed. Search your heart. Have Him search your heart. If you have greed inside of you and you're never satisfied, no matter how much you make, and if money is always the thing on your brain, and you're not walking in trust to the real provider and communicating with the real provider and searching out the ways in which He promotes those who are faithful with the little to be made ruler over much, much more. Bottom line, friend, if you want to be financially independent, you got to follow His ways in His financial kingdom in order to do it. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Stay right here for more of The Dani Johnson Show. Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First Steps to Success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was working 60 to 75 hours a week. I was completely stressed out. I was incredibly angry with my husband. We were in over $350,000 worth of debt. By applying the strategies that Dani teaches, in the last 3.5 years, we have paid off $170,000 in debt. We are no longer roommates, and we no longer spend every single cent that we make. We now have made tens of thousands of dollars in passive income in investments. We are on the right track. We're traveling around the world together, and we are building homes for those who really need it. So I don't know about you, but if you want to cut back from 60 to 20 and 30 hours a week, if you want to mend some relationships, if you want to make your life more efficient and a lot more fun, and you want to be the best version of you, I highly recommend that you get registered because your life is about to change.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, First Steps to Success in Creating Dynasty, my wife and I were really lost. We were struggling in a relationship. We were struggling financially, drowning in debt. Our relationship was really broken. We were in a bad place. We were living in two completely different states and not really honoring each other. Once we got plugged into the community, we noticed a shift in our lives. Most importantly, we came together as a husband and wife. That was the first thing we did. And when we finally came together under the same roof, things started to change. Over the past 3 years, we've been able to pay off over $495,000 in debt. I know in my business, I've had a job created for me that increased my income by 50%. That has actually opened up the door to allow my wife and I to spend more time with each other. So I don't know where you are. I don't know if your relationship is super awesome. I don't know if your job is immaculate. I don't know if you're debt-free. But what I do know is if you're not any one of those things, your next step is to get plugged into DaniJohnson.com. Go on the website, get plugged into the community. I promise you, your life will never be the same.
And prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was a broke college student, drowning in debt, and I felt like the world was crashing all around me, and I had bad relationships. Since plugging into DaniJohnson.com and First Steps to Success, I was able to pay off $6,600 in 4 months. Now I'm able to give 10% of my income to wherever my heart desires. I actually, using the skills that I learned from Dani, I actually landed a job before I graduated college. And I'm able to travel the world. All I know is if you're serious about annihilating your debt, traveling the world, helping people, and having fun doing so, I highly recommend you get registered for the next First Steps to Success. Do it now, don't wait, don't even thinking about it. If you're ready to change your life, just do it.
We went to our first ever First Steps to Success just 10 weeks ago, and it has definitely been life-changing ever since.
We felt like we got hit by a 2x4, but it was the best 2x4 because what we realized is that our priorities were clearly out of line. I had been building a home-based business and had been working 80 to 100 hours, and I realized that that is not my role and that I had actually taken my husband's. And it was that realization that something had to change, and we immediately went home and changed everything. There was no hesitation. We said, you know what, we need to be obedient to God.
And we've implemented the tools day one. We started implementing what Dani taught us, invested in ourselves, invested in our kids, got our priorities in line. We've now actually paid off just not quite $60,000 in debt and looking at a couple more investments here as head of the household.
It's been absolutely incredible. So I just encourage you, if any of this speaks to you, if you're wanting to get out of debt, if you're wanting better communication, if you're wanting to elevate to the higher level of life, get to First Steps to Success and plug into DaniJohnson.com.
What multimillionaire do you know that volunteers their time to help ordinary people like you and me? There's only one. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
So, did you know that it is possible that some of those lies you have told financially about your money, that secret hidden bank account, that credit card your spouse does not know about or your partner doesn't know about, the bonus that you got that you somehow hid over here in another little place, that could be hurting your relationship, that you're actually not building trust in your relationship, and you are also not building trust with the real one who rewards you financially. It could be that this is the one thing that is stopping you from succeeding financially. And why do we do it? Generally, people want to be in control. Generally, people don't want to fess up, which is just nothing but arrogance. Arrogance is going to keep you broke for the rest of your life unless you punch arrogance in the face and you decide to walk in humility and be honest. So we asked our audience, have you ever been in this place where you have either been lied to financially or you have done the lying? I'm amazed at this audience of the Dani Johnson Show. I am absolutely amazed at the level of honesty in which they have, the level of humility they have. To be able to call in and say, yep, I did it. Because it's in that confession that we become free and you will set yourself up to succeed financially. So we're going over to Annette Cook out of New York. So Annette, have you found yourself in this position where you've been lied to by your partner, or you have actually been that person to do that dastardly thing? Hello, Annette. The line is open. Did you mute yourself, lady? Hello, Annette. We cannot hear Annette. That is sad. Okay, we're going over to Wanda Town from Virginia. Hello, Wanda.
Hey.
Hi, I can hear you. Yay. Hi, Wanda. So what about you?
As far as lying?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. I would buy things and put them in the closet and not tell my spouse that, and then, all of a sudden I'd pull something out. Oh, was that new? No, I've had it for a while.
Wait a second. So this is a plot.
Yeah. Oh, no, I've had it for a while. It's saving it for a special occasion or whatever. Yeah, and I've also been lied to. Actually, I'm in the process of a divorce, but my husband didn't pay the taxes for 3 years.
Ooh.
3 years. We were in so much financial debt, and so now I am in that emotional place of where I am dependent. I don't have a job. I'm depressed.
So I have a question for you. Wanda. Have you ever heard of the concept that we reap what we sow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget about that.
So can you even blame your husband for hiding the fact that he did not pay the taxes?
Well, I did, but I think he was afraid. And then...
Oh, so let me ask you a question. So why did you buy things, put them in your closet, and not tell him about it?
Because I felt I didn't deserve it, actually. And I didn't... good, that's a good question. I didn't know at the time that he hadn't paid the taxes.
No, but wait. No. You're justifying. I want to know why you would go shopping, hide it in your closet for a couple of months without telling him that you were purchasing these things. Why wouldn't you just tell him that you bought a blouse?
Because I didn't think that he would be mad at me.
And so why do you think
I didn't think I deserved it.
That's a nice little justification. I think your first answer was correct.
Okay.
You were afraid he'd be mad at you. So is it possible that he didn't tell you that he didn't pay the taxes for the same reason?
Very possible. Good way to look at it. Yeah.
It's not a way to look at it. It's like a reality. And the bottom line is that we reap what we sow, Wanda. So you bought things that you didn't talk to him about, you hid him from him, and then you lied about him. No, I've had this for a while now, which is called premeditated.
You're right.
That was straight up premeditated manipulation.
You're right.
Yeah. Now, I'm sorry you're going through a divorce, and I'm really sorry your husband didn't pay the taxes for 3 years. It's a terrible thing. But if you want to clean the slate, I would call your husband and confess not just the blouses, but what are some other things maybe that should be confessed?
Right.
And totally release him from that same guilt and pressure that you're feeling right now, that shame, and release him from that and say, I get it, honey. And I'm really sorry for all the words in which I spoke against you about these taxes. And I totally forgive you, and I completely understand why you didn't tell me.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's start the clean slate so that maybe this could be the thing that opens the door for a job. And moving forward, I really want you to look at this, girl. I want you to look at, wow, where are some other places that you may have lied about money? And make a list of them. And then go make it right. If you had, I heard you just turn the page, you're taking notes. I'm really proud of you. That's really amazing. That's really awesome. Okay, so I want you to also look at it. Okay, wait a second. Did I do that with any past employers? Have I done this with friends? With even lying about money? Like, where else have I lied about money? Because look at this, is just the craziest thing. Now, Wanda, you have to know, I've worked with thousands and thousands of people, especially concerning money. And this right here is one of those things that people don't think about, but they don't understand that this actually stops the flow of financial independence and financial blessing over their lives.
Wow.
It creates a dam. It just cuts it off. But when you make it right, now you can get honest financially. Now you can be wise financially. And when you can be wise, you can be trusted financially. And that's when the floodgates open up and shower blessings financially over you. So as soon as you call your spouse, as soon as you and I are hanging up, girl, we're hanging up.
Okay.
You're calling your soon-to-be ex-husband, and it's confession time. It's confession time. And it is, I totally forgive you. I get it. I reaped what I sowed. Because what you sow comes back to you not one-to-one. It isn't, okay, I lied about a blouse, so he's going to lie about a shirt. No, it's tenfold, 30, wow. 70, 100, i.e., taxes for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So he no longer is to blame. You take full responsibility for your part and totally release him from any guilt or any shame that he might be encountering right now. And you are going to be the one free out of this. If he chooses to receive that forgiveness, he also will be free. And the two of you can make wiser decisions moving forward. Oh my gosh, Wanda, I really appreciate your authenticity. I appreciate your humility with calling and sharing this. Okay, we've got Louise Florette from Connecticut. Louise, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. So which side have you been on? Have you been in the place where you've lied about money? Is it a secret credit card, a secret bank account? Has it been shoes? Has it been clothes? Has it been eating out? What has it been?
I've been emotionally affected by it.
Tell me about this.
My parents, I'm in my early 50s. My parents were depression kids. They were raised during the Depression, where one was a little bit more comfortable. The other one, my mother, had a very negative effect on me about money, to the point it was the word is terrifying if we were short of anything.
Tell me more about that.
Well, even though we had a roof above our head and food on our table at all times, I was quite happy living in an apartment. She was always petrified. We had a recession in the 70s. She lost her job, and a lot of people were losing their jobs, and we would have to take the train. I'm originally from New York. We would have to take the train to the unemployment office and back, and instead of enjoying my childhood during those years, I was the one that had to listen to my mom talking about I don't know how we're going to live. We're going to lose this. We're going to lose that. And it was terrifying.
Yeah, that is terrifying for a little kid. Especially if it was the 70s. I mean, you were a little kid in the 70s because you were born in the early 60s. And so, wow. So hearing your parents or hearing your mother say, we might be homeless one day or we're not going to be able to eat today. Was this the kind of drama that she was saying to you?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, that's unsettling for a kid. That's like it's putting a kid in absolute fear, and also training you to think about money constantly, and to to trust in Almighty Dollar instead of Almighty God. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Stay right here for more of the Dani Johnson Show.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your freedom, your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
Hey everybody, my name is Digby and I'm from New South Wales, Australia, and I'm here live at First Steps to Success. I've been to 6 events now, and my journey started with an encore in Brisbane, and after doing 2 encores in Australia, I just really had to come to a live event, so here I am today. And since attending an encore and getting involved, my income has doubled and my family life is just blossoming. So you have to get there. You just have to experience it.
So 4 years ago in July, we showed up to our first Dani Johnson event, our first Steps to Success. And we were completely desperate in every area of our life. At the time, I thought it was just because of our finances, but then I figured out pretty quickly that it was because of my lack of people skills that we were where we were. We sat in the front row. We got fast track, and we sat in the front row right in the center next to some amazing people because we were so hungry, so desperate, so broken, and I pretty much cried through the entire event, honestly. And when she did the War on Debt, which she will show you, this afternoon, I went back immediately and got it. She had just started talking. I heard a couple stories, and I was like, if they can do it, I know we can do it. So we went back and got it and listened to it on the way home in the car, because we drove from Michigan all the way to Missouri. So we listened to it in the car, and when we got home, we immediately got our papers out. We wrote down our plan, and we started applying it. And within 14 months, we paid off over $62,000 worth of debt. We never in a million years thought that was possible. There's so much that has happened in the last 4 years, and I'm the person that wants the results immediately. I don't like the process of getting there. I want to just get there. But I've learned to appreciate the process over the last 4 years and just seeing the transformation that has happened in us. Personally, we individually experience different things, and we experience a lot of things together. I was paying our bills. I was completely disrespectful to my husband and didn't really know how bad it actually was. And so that part of our life is still improving. I can say we're a work in progress. It takes time, and we have grown so much.
We showed up. My wife, I didn't know this at the time, but she was battling thoughts of suicide. I had no idea. I thought I was being a perfectly good husband. I did my best to serve her, be a great guy. But what she needed was somebody who would step up and be a leader in our marriage. That's not who I was. And I was totally emasculated, physically emasculated by, there was someone in our church, the pastor, and so we felt the brokenness of a church, having to leave and just hurt, and devastated. One of the biggest breakthroughs started in our marriage is when Lucy started being a wife to me. And I, as a leader, I should step up, right? Take action first, be the initiator. She did it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a completely different person. And I can tell you, our marriage has just, it's amazing the difference between her feeling suicidal, me stepping down as a leader, to me taking the initiative and just looking her in the eyes and saying, honey, thank you for allowing me to be your leader. And she just melts every time. This is awesome. So. So let me just tell you this, guys. If you're struggling, or you're broke, you're wondering what your next step is, hey, just take action. Follow those notes that you just took. Take action and do it, because your story is going to be here, and people are going to be inspired by your story. So are you all ready to take notes? All right, let's do this. Help me welcome Miss Dani Johnson, America's favorite millionaire, to the stage.
And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
Wow, could you imagine being a child and hearing your parents fighting about money? Maybe you don't have to imagine. Maybe you know exactly what that sounded like. Or in the case with Louise, this is nuts, where her mom would literally say to her as she's a young little girl, I don't know if we're going to have food tonight. I don't know if we're going to be able to stay in our apartment. I don't know if we're going to be evicted. I don't know if we're going to have a place to live. How tormenting and unstable for that child. And if you're listening to me right now and you just heard the words from Louise that her mom said these things to her, you better watch your mouth, friend. You better watch your mouth, because you are programming your child with poverty. You are programming your child with fear instead of programming them with faith. You are programming them to be all caught up and worried about something that they should not be worried about, especially as a young child. So, Louise, how has this impacted your life growing up with a mom who was constantly worried about money?
I constantly worried also.
Yep.
And then I got saved in '89.
What do you mean you got saved? There's some people listening right now that doesn't have a clue of what the heck that term means.
I got saved. I gave my heart to Jesus in '89.
Mm-hmm.
But I still was learning at the time, learning how to handle my money.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept, I had settled for jobs that were just jobs. They weren't something that like a business or a career.
Mm-hmm.
But I chose the safe way.
Yep.
And even though, God says He gets us out of our comfort zone,
Mm-hmm.
He really throws us out of our comfort zone.
Yes, He does.
And I started, I still stayed with the city jobs, but I had to take a step of faith and leave one job because it wasn't safe.
Mm-hmm.
It was not safe. And my mom turned it around for something bad. She started using the money as a tool of a weapon against us. And my husband, when I got married in 2000, but she would make it as a tool. So it would be like she would hold it like a carrot in front of us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Instead of taking the glory that, look, God gave me something and you're supposed to hold your blessings with an open hand.
Yep.
And she would dangle it and she would want the glory instead of God.
Wow. Okay, so listen to me, Lois, because I can hear that perhaps, and maybe I'm hearing incorrectly, but I don't know if you have forgiven your mom fully for her unknowingly programming you for poverty. There's no question in my mind that if she had any idea the power that she had over you and the way she was using it, if she saw the implications that it would have on your life, I'm pretty sure that she would not have done that. Even the most wicked of parents, I just don't believe for a second that a parent wants to purposely defile their child in any way. And so I want you to consider fully releasing your mother, because you are a 50-something-year-old woman now, as you said, and you're a full adult now, as you said. You said that you gave your life to God, as you said, so you are no longer under the yoke of your childhood. You are no longer under the yoke of poverty that was passed into your childhood, but you now live under a completely different platform, a completely different set of rules, a completely different kingdom than the kingdom that you grew up in. So I charge you now to, as soon as we hang up, I want you to fully release your mother. I want you to make a list of things that you hold against her, the words that she did, how she manipulated you with money, the kind of fear that she imparted into you. And I want you to just say, I fully release you, Mom. You don't even have to call her. I fully release you, Mom. You owe me nothing. You did your absolute very best. And here's the main kicker here, that if you were raised the way your mother was raised, you probably would have done the same thing. Your mom was a mom, and she was trained by another mom. And as much as we might think we know how she was raised, we don't know squat. We don't know squat. All we know is what we've heard. And we can't hold up what we heard as to be higher than the knowledge of God, which He's the only one that has the whole freaking picture. None of us have the full picture, even on ourselves. So you need to give yourself freedom from oppression, freedom from resentment and bitterness, and most importantly, freedom from blame. Blame, which will keep you stuck financially for the rest of your life. Next, we've got Joni Wooten from Florida. Joni, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. So what about you? Which side of the coin have you been on? Have you been lied to financially, or have you been in that place where you told a couple white lies? Or both?
Oh, goodness. Am I live, Janine?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you said
Janine. I'm sorry. I mispronounced your name. Forgive me.
No, that's fine. Actually, I have been on both sides of the coin. interestingly. But I never thought about the fact about me lying about money until you posed the question. And so,
what did you think about? What did you think about when you saw that question? Because you said I never thought about that before.
Right, exactly. It made me do a little introspection, and so I thought, in my case, it's that I tend to downplay when. And I've been in situations where money's been good, and I've been in situations where money's been really tight.
Mm-hmm.
So I find myself downplaying when things are good because I don't want my family to think that I'm prideful. Oh. So it was just an interesting insight on myself.
So what is that you are down? Come on, tell me, what is that?
Exactly.
What is it?
I don't know.
It's arrogance and manipulation. It's manipulation.
Right?
It's straight up.
Think.
Yeah, well, I
think it's that I don't feel deserving, I think.
That's a really nice, arrogant thing to say. Come on, no. I love it when people say that. They think, I don't think I deserve it. That's a bunch of nonsense. Okay, so listen to me. You're like, really? Okay, listen to me. None of us deserve anything, Janine. None of us. I deserve to die. That's the reality. With the sickness that is inside of my own heart, with all the sin, with all the crap, the wickedness, the things that have come out of my mouth for the last 49 years, I deserve to die. I don't deserve anything, okay? And neither do you. I don't care how lily perfect you are. You're still full of sin just like I am. All of us have fallen short of the glory of God. So none of us deserve it. It's only by the grace of God. But let's go back to this.
I agree with that.
Yes. So let's go back to this because you say, okay, well, I kind of downplay the blessing in my life because I don't want my family, let me repeat it back to you, I don't want my family to think I'm prideful.
Mm-hmm.
Then what was active right there with that very thought?
Pride.
Exactly. So you're trying to hide your pride.
Ah, interesting. Yes, you're right. You're right. And I spent a lot of time thinking about it after you asked the question, and I've done a lot of, looking at the beliefs that I was given around money growing up and trying to break out of that and claim my blessing. So there's definitely some strongholds, and I was hoping that you could help me with that.
I just did. It's called pride. It's straight up pride.
Listen, right now, money's not good, so there's no pride at all right now.
Oh, no, there is.
Broken.
That's what you think is funny.
You think so?
Oh, so you think people who are poor have no pride because they're poor?
No, I think with myself.
Hold it.
I'm wondering if that's why the lesson I'm going through is to just break me.
You're on to something. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Don't go away. The next segment might just change your life. It's the Dani Johnson Show.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success. Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what poverty-stricken families are dealing with in Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic needs of food, clean water, and safe housing. But a miracle is in the making, and you can be a part of transforming Nicaragua. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Nicaragua. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
More resources, more training, more results. The DaniJohnson.com Insider membership is your ultimate success shortcut. Get exclusive access to reports, videos, audios, ebooks, cheat sheets, and other training for your personal and professional life. This is truly DaniJohnson.com's best kept secret. Become an Insider member today and get on the fast track to success.
I just heard this amazing story. One of our clients had written us telling us that they had used job domination and unlimited success and has absolutely exploded their career. He said, Dani, I don't know where I'd be today without job domination and unlimited success. Listen, do you want more recognition from your coworkers? Do you want to be recommended to people all over the world? Do you want to be somebody that is highly sought after? Listen, if you're in a dead-end place where this gentleman found himself, but then learned new strategies and changed everything in his work life, and obviously this has resulted in higher bonuses and pay raises, you're next. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Job Domination right now. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Job domination. That's what you need. It's time for you to dominate the job market and break through the rut that you're in.
Helping you become all you were meant to be. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Pride will keep you broke. It will. And I think it's so funny that there are, especially in the religious world, that people think that if you are poor, then you must be humble. But if you are successful, then you must be full of pride. That's a lie. There are prideful people who are broke. In fact, that's how they got themselves that way. And then there are prideful people who are financially independent. There are also humble people who are financially independent. To be honest with you, I've ran into more financially independent, humble people than I have ran into financially independent, prideful people. In fact, what I have found is that the more that when you work on humility, financial blessing seems to come in your direction, because if you humble yourself before man and before God, He's the one that exalts you. He's the one that promotes you. But if you are not humble, then He demotes you. And humility works out in how you deal with people. Humility works out in how you're honest or dishonest with people. Humility is a driver, or pride is a driver. Greed is a driver. Recognition is a driver. Or humility is your driver. And if humility is your driver, then He exalts you. So listen, if this is your very first time joining us on the Dani Johnson Show, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. And if you enjoyed today, you might enjoy tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about work tips, so how to prosper greater in your work life. And then on Wednesday, we actually attack the whole spiritual concept. Thursday, we help you to thrive better in the marketplace and at home. And then Friday is all about your family. So if you want to grow in all 5 of those areas of your life, then you're going to be here every single day, same time, same place, same station and channel. And if you haven't yet found out about our podcast, come over and join us on our podcast. It's a free podcast. Just download the app on your smartphone. You'll be able to tune in any place, anywhere, every day. We have loads of archives of content and topics that are going to help you define what success means to you and to help keep you on your toes in the places where you actually want to succeed. Instead of allowing society tell you where you should succeed, you decide where it is that you want to succeed. And if this is your first time, we'd love to give you this free book. This is called First Steps to Wealth. It's a real book with like 280 pages. And we'd love to give it to you if it's your first time. You pay the shipping to get it to your house. We'd be happy to send you this $15 book. You can call our office right now at 866-760-8255. Again, that's 866-760-8255 and get your copy today. And or if you want to download one of those digital type copies, you can do that at DaniJohnson.com. That's DANI Johnson.com. Again, that's DANI Johnson.com. You'll see right on the homepage, right here, this cover, it is yours. Plus, there's 2 free audios there that talk about fear. And oftentimes, fear can drive us to lie and not be honest or truthful with ourselves or even those that are around us. And again, friend, we're going to reap what we sow, and you don't want to do that anymore, especially after hearing the complications that you heard from our precious people who called in today to share from their own personal experiences. So that's it for us today. We hope that you join us tomorrow. God bless. Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.
If this episode was an encouragement to you, go to DaniJohnson.com and share it with your friends now. You never know who else needs to hear it. This has been The Dani Johnson Show. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.